All right. So now when we have our auth state provider ready and we have our authentication in place, let's go to our web project and let's see what all options we are going to have in our nav menu. Right now it has these default options, that home, counter and weather. We are not going to use these home, counter, weather. Instead, so home we can leave it like this only. But for counter and weather, we are not going to have these things. We'll have some conditional things here. The first, we will be having for admin, we will be having a manage quizzes page. Okay, so we can have simply page. Yeah, let's just have manage hyphen quizzes. Okay, name manage quizzes. Then let's have a helper UI to create a new quiz as well. So we'll say add quiz. Add quiz. And I guess these two are fine for now. We'll see if we need to add any other. Now for student, for the person who will attempt this quiz, for them we are going to have a different menu item, and that will be, let's say, my quizzes. Okay, my quizzes. Now right now if we run it, we will see that these all these options are available for all. But that is not what we want. We need authorization here. So authentication is already in place. Now we need authorization. So the admin user should be able to see these two things, manage quiz, add quiz, and the student should be able to view this my quizzes. Alright. So for this thing, what we'll do, inside this, we are going to use authorize view. Okay. Inside authorize view, we know we want authorized component, and in this authorized thing we can directly move these things. But now these are directly in authorized. Again, it will be for all. The direct authorized component is just for authentication. So authenticated user is by default authorized. So it will display this for all. But we want this just for a specific uh, type of user. So for that we have two options. One, in this authorized view, what we can do, we can actually nest this inside this authorized component. So authorized view, then authorized, then again we can have authorized view. And on this internal authorized view, here we can define roles. So comma separated roles. In our case, the role who will be able to see these things, this is admin role. Just admin. Do we have this role enum kind of thing, right? We have that somewhere. Shared user role, right? User role dot admin. So here, instead of hard coding it, what we can do, we can simply say at the rate user role, which will come from blazingquiz.shared dot admin. Now by default, it will be enum value. So we need to have the dynamic name. So we'll say name of this admin. So now this particular section, that means this authorized view, this is going to be rendered only if the logged in user has a role claim with name of admin. That means this admin string. Okay. Same thing. We are going to copy this thing. Authorize view roles. And here we are, these roles are going to be not authorized route view, authorized view. Roles. Here we'll simply say name of user role dot student. So for student, we are going to display this my quizzes link. So let me cut this thing for now and add it here. And after that, we can simply remove this weather link because we are not using it. Or maybe we can do this. We can have this link as a logout button. So let's say logout. We can have this a simple button instead of nav link. We can just have anchor tag as role button. Okay, and it will we will not have any href on this. Instead, we'll simply say on click equals, and here we will call our logout method. So that logout method that lives inside our quiz auth state provider, right? That should be somewhere set logout async, this thing. Okay, on quiz auth state provider. So on this nav menu page, we can inject our quiz auth state provider, and here we can create a method private async task logout async, and inside this we can simply say await quiz auth state provider dot set logout async, and then we can call this logout async method on click of this anchor, and now we are good. We are not using these icons. We can find icons if we want to, but right now let's get rid of all these icons. So direct nav menu text without icons. All right. Now after logging out, we should redirect to home page, right? Login page. So for that, we will inject navigation manager. We'll call it navigation manager only. And after logging out, we'll simply say navigation manager dot navigate to slash what was that, auth slash login. Okay, slash auth slash login. This is the login URL. If we go to pages auth login, this is the logout URL, login URL basically. So we are redirecting it. And on this thing, what we can do inside this navigate to, we will say this, we will set this replace flag to true, by which what it will do, by default when we use navigation manager, what it does, it actually pushes the new page on the web history. So there is a history stack. So when first URL hits, it is there. Then when we navigate to another URL, it is kind of gets added to the stack, so that when we press back button on the browser, we go to the previous, so it will navigate us to the previous page. Okay, but in this case, in this particular scenario, when we are logging out, at that time we don't want it to come back to this current page, because this current page needs user state, which we don't have, because when we say logout, we removed the auth state. So we will prevent user to coming back to this page. Okay, that's why we'll use this replace true. Just replace this, don't add this to the browser history stack, just replace the current page with this new page, which is this auth login. All right, so now we can simply try it out. Let's run it. And there is some error. Let's see what is it. Authorize view. Yeah, so the child element, child content element, child content of component authorized view uses the same parameter name context. So if you remember, when I showed you how to get the current logged in users detail in this authorized view, we have this @context, this special variable context. Now it is inside this authorized view. Now if we check in our nav menu, we first have this authorized view, so it will have that context, that lowercase context. Now inside this we have authorized, and again we have authorized view, so this will also have the same context variable. Now it will actually be ambiguous, because the context name is going to be ambiguous. It will not able to figure out which context we are using. That's why it is throwing error. So whenever we have this nested authorized views, On this, what we can do inside the internal authorized view, we can set that context variable's name. Okay. So here we can say context equals. Now here we can define any name. So here let's say admin context. Now it will know if we want to access this thing now, we will be able to use this. Here we can simply say admin context, then user and all those things we'll be able to use inside this thing. Okay. Same thing we need to define on the second authorized view. Context, student context. Save it and run it. Okay, it is coming. Auth login. We are here. We have these manage quizzes and it reloaded, and then we have some error. Sorry, there is nothing at this address. That's because this is trying to get to this page, but this page does not exist yet. That's why it is saying this. So we'll add these pages quickly, but before that, let me show you the logout functionality. There is some error. What is it? Is this the previous error or this is some new error? Let me remove this, refresh this, and yes, we have some error, and the error is unhandled exception rendering component collection was modified, enumeration operation may not execute. Which collection we are talking about here? App.tracer line number 19. Notify auth state changed. App.tracer line number 19. What do we have there? App.tracer line number 19. Initialize async. What we have inside initialize async? Do we have some enumeration? No. Set login async. Do we have something here? No. Set auth state task. Do we have something here? No, there's nothing, right? Let's see if we are able to figure out the error. So looks like the error is not here. It is saying from this thing app.razor quiz auth state provider.cs initialize async set login async notify authentication state changed. Let me try to debug why this is happening. Let's see if we can get to there. Oh, set login async. Inside set login we are saying user set auth state task, then notify authentication state changed. Are we doing anything inside this? We are not doing anything, right? Because we are not calling this. If we go to the base authentication state provider, this is abstract, and here we just have this authentication state changed property. We have this delegate notify authentication state change. Inside this, what it does, it just calls this authentication state change dot invoke, and we can have our own logic which we are not having, and this thing also does not have anything, right? Is this because we are explicitly calling the notify authentication state change after login? Let's see if this is the problem. I'm not sure what is the problem, but let's see if this is the culprit. Login, and after login we have this appearance, we have not authorized. That's because we didn't tell it to that we have done something. You should retry to get the state. Let's see at what stage it comes actually. Login. It was something else, or what was it? Now if I refresh it, yeah. When we are refreshing it at that time, we have this. Yeah. When we refresh it, then we have this issue. So that means it is somehow related to the initialize async only, set login async. Okay, let me try to debug. I don't want to waste your time. Right now I don't have anything on top of my mind. I will just simply try to see, follow the trail and try to see if I can get to this thing. If you guys know what is happening here, why this error is coming, so do let me know in the comment. Okay, maybe you and I, we are going to have different approaches, or maybe some fundamental differences to understanding some concept. Okay. Hey, so I didn't spend much time on it, but this issue is still occurring, so I'm not able to fix it yet. What is happening when we are in initializing from here, when we call this set logout on this line, this notify authentication state changed, it actually throws that enumeration has been changed. So it is somehow inside the maybe this authentication state provider only, the not in our code, but maybe I'm doing something wrong which shouldn't be done like this. So I'm still not sure what is happening right now in here. The good thing is we can actually catch that exception and we can see here, and if we skip this everything works fine, so there is no problem what I saw, but maybe there might be some issue. So here's what we are going to do. We'll continue building this app, then maybe I'll try to find some time to figure out what the issue is. And if you guys have some idea about this, please comment down in this video so that other people can also learn something and I can also learn something new. Okay, so let me add a comment here to do fix this error is here, set logout async from this initialize async method. Initialize async method rows enumeration collection was modified. This was this, right? Collection was modified. Enumeration has changed on the line notify authentication state changed in the set login async method. Okay, so we'll fix this. We'll try to fix it. Now, if we simply remove all these breakpoints, disable all breakpoints, it should work. Let's quickly check it again. So the default case login, we are good. If we refresh, we can see the name, direct access, authorized view access, roles, and everything is fine here. Now let's try to do this. We will see if we have that our what we say, the different set of menus if the user role is different. So quickly what we'll do, we'll go to the API, our services, auth service, where we are creating our this thing, what we call it, generated JWT tokens. So here what we'll do, instead of this user.role, we will simply pass hardcode student to just check it. We'll revert this. So user role dot student to check. So in this case, it should show my quizzes in the left nav menu section. API, UI, login, and it is not. Something is not right. Let's quickly see what is the issue here. If we have the, if we go to application and if we check our token, oh, role is still admin. In token, what we have? jwt.io. jwt.io, we have role student. Something is not right. What is not right? When we are in the website, when we have this auth here, what we are doing, setting auth state. How are we setting the auth state, or maybe login? When we are setting the login, set auth state, we have user.toClaims, and in here we are directly using this role property. We are not getting this role from this token on UI. So that means in auth service, we just need to change one more thing. So instead of having this here, we should use it here, where we are creating our logged in user instance. So we'll use this thing here. Now let's run it. I hope when we encounter these errors and when we debug this, so you guys learn something new and all those. I hope, do let me in the comment if you guys like this debugging while recording, or you think this is some time waste and I should simply debug offline and directly throw the solution to you. Do let me in the comment. Okay, now here we see my quizzes. That means that authorized view is working. Okay, that roles is working. So this is how we implement authorization in Blazor UI. Okay, now we start working next. But before that, let's quickly create these pages. We'll just have these pages. We will not have any logic yet in this. Let me revert these things first. All right. Now, inside the pages folder, I'm going to create a new folder. Pages. I'll call admin folder, and inside this I'm going to say manage quizzes.razor. Okay, and then one more for add quiz. Inside this I'll say add quiz.razor page, and then inside pages I'm going to create a new folder student. Inside this I'll say my quizzes.razor. Okay, and on all of these pages we are going to add the page URL. So first, manage quizzes. In admin manage quizzes, I'm going to say at the rate page, double quotes and slash manage quiz. Then next will be add quiz. So let's go to the add quiz page, at the rate page slash add quiz. Then we have my quizzes. Go to student my quizzes. Here we'll say at the rate page slash my quizzes. And let's do this. I'm going to add student prefix to the student URLs and admin prefix to the admin URL. It's totally up to you. If you want to, you can. If you don't want to, you can simply skip this thing. So now we modified the page directive, these URLs. So we need to modify nav menu as well. So here we'll say admin slash manage quiz. admin slash add quiz and student slash my quizzes. Save everything, run it, log in, my quizzes. Now I can see these pages. All right. Now there is one more thing which we'll fix in this authorization section. So that is, if you remember, right now I'm logged in with admin credentials. So I am in admin case. If I try to go to student slash my quizzes page, application is initializing and I can see this my quizzes page. You see, but I don't have this in left section because here I am having proper authorization, but here I'm not having it. It will be similar if we log in with student credential, and if we try to access this page, we will be able to access this page. But this is not what we want, right? We don't want to show that in nav menu, but we don't want to we want to restrict the direct access as well, because that is how authorization should work. So for these things, what we will do, inside this admin folder, I'm going to create one more file. I'll call it underscore imports.razor. You can directly have this thing in add quiz and manage quizzes. We are going to add authorize attribute. ASP.NET could authorize attribute. So we'll say at the rate attribute. And here we'll say authorize, which should come from Microsoft ASP.NET Core authorization. And I'm having it in underscore imports.razor so that I will be adding it at the one place, and it will be applied for all the pages within that folder. So this is how underscore imports.razor file works. This is a reserved name, underscore imports.razor. So you can see we have one underscore imports.razor on root as well. Whatever we have in underscore imports.razor, that is automatically applies to the siblings and child's, or we can say the children of its parent. So if we talk about this main root underscore imports.razor, you will see this is going to be applied to, for this underscore imports.razor, the parent is main project, and then it is going to apply children of main project. That means to all. That's why if we add using in this underscore import.razor, we can access those things directly in each and every razor page, razor component. Same thing when we are saying this underscore imports.razor inside this admin folder. Now whatever we put in this underscore imports.razor, that is going to be applied to the children of its parent. So its parent underscore imports.razor's parent is admin. So inside admin, we have this add quiz and manage quiz. So whatever we will put in underscore imports.razor, that will be going to apply to add quiz.razor and manage quizzes.razor. Okay, so here we have this authorize attribute. Inside this, we have different things which we can provide: authentication scheme, policy, roles. You see, here also we can provide roles. These are the roles, and in this, I just want to add that user role dot admin, right? Because this is going to be applied to admin. Now what I'll do, I'll simply copy this and add it to student. We might have another pages inside student folder, and we will be having pages, right? When we'll have the quiz page where the actual quiz is going to be question, option, selection, next, previous. So there are going to be multiple pages inside this as well. So that's why we are having it here, and inside this the role should be student. Now if we save everything and run the project again, log in. Okay, now let's try to access the student my quiz page, and we still can see this thing. What is the issue? Again, we are missing something. Student my quizzes and current application has admin role and everything. admin. Add quiz, manage quiz is fine. Underscore import short razor. Build action content. Okay, let me try to clear this. Again, maybe I'm missing some small things. So if you guys know what is happening here, do let me in the comment. Start. And login slash student my quiz. And we can still see this. Let me quickly see what else it could be. We have authorized. We are authorizing. We know that our URL is correct. And yes. So if you remember, I don't know if you are following me for long, when we were working on a Blazing blog application using .NET 7 Blazor server. At that time also we faced the same issue, and we found out that we are missing a basic thing, basic core, basic principle of Blazor. That is, for this router, when we have this route view, so that authorized attribute does not work with the route view. So whenever we have authorized view, that authorized attribute, when we want to apply this authorized attribute on any of the razor component, this route view in our app.razor router, it needs to change to authorize route view, so that it uses that authorized attribute. It checks for that authorized attribute. Okay, now if we save everything and if we run it, it should work now. Auth login, student my quiz, and we can see not authorized. We are not authorized. So this message is coming. This is, I guess, default message, right? We can modify this if we want to. Inside this authorized route view also, we can have the authorizing, authorized, not authorized thing, right? If you want to, you can modify this thing. You can add this thing here. So this thing is working the same way. If we will log in with student, these menu items will not be there. If we try to access these directly by adding it in URL, then it will also not work. So with this setup, now our authorization is complete. Okay, we have restricted the pages and URLs and links, everything to the role which can access those, right? Now we are good with all this setup. Now there is one thing, the default page, it should not be the login page anymore, because now we have already implemented login functionality. So we can quickly go to our properties, launch settings. Here in HTTPS profile, we have this auth login. We can remove this thing. Now we don't need this. Save everything. Now if we run it, it will not open this auth login. Now one more thing, if we explicitly try to go to login page, then what should happen? There are use cases. It totally depends upon your requirement or how you want to implement it. So there are two different type of flows which I have seen in my entire career. One is, we will allow login, and when we are on login page at the very beginning, we'll simply log out, and then we'll display this login page. Then we have a different flow as well, where if we are already logged in and if we come to login page, it will not render this. It will directly navigate you to home page or dashboard page or whatever the first page should be open after login. So these are the two different flows. You are okay to choose any of these. For me, what I will do, I will simply check if user is already logged in. We can simply move user to the home page. That's what I'm going to do. Okay, so in here, what I will do, on this login page, I'm going to override this on initialized. Here, I am going to check this quiz auth state provider dot is logged in. If the user is logged in, then navigation manager dot navigate to the, what is the default page, that is home page, right, slash. So just navigate to home page. Okay, with replace true. We don't want this login page in the browser's history stack. And after this, we'll simply return from here. We will not do anything. And we are not doing anything. So we are okay if we don't return from here. It will automatically return from here. Save everything. And let's quickly see. I'll start it. By default, it should open home page. And then I will try to access the login page. It is opening the home page. We are good. Now if I try to access login page, it should come to the home page. And it didn't come. And why did not it come? Because when we were here, that initialization logic, if you remember, for login page, we have this empty layout. Okay, we have some logic in our main layout. If you remember, we have this logic. We wait it to initialize properly. So what happened just on login page when we were checking it, before that it was in initialization phase, so it was not able to access the current scenarios. It was not logged in by default. Okay, so we need to somehow do the same thing we are doing on this main layout. So what we can do, we can maybe copy this, go to empty layout and add this thing here as well. Okay, let's inject this, inject quiz auth state provider, and we don't want to show this body unless this quiz provider is initialized. So here we'll simply say if the quiz auth state provider dot is initializing, we'll display something here. Let's say initializing state dot dot dot, and in the else part we'll do this, render this body. Stop everything and let's run it. It's here, home page, we are logged in, auth login, and we redirect it to home page. You see, now let's log out. We are on login page right now. If we refresh it, we can access the login page. Because we are not logged in right now, we are not authorized. Okay, now I'm going to remove this not authorized text from here, and then we'll be good with our authorization and authentication part. Then we'll simply start working on the next step. Let's quickly go to login.razor, and here we have this authorized view which we don't need now. Save everything and now we are good. Cool. So next thing, now we'll start working on the admin side of pages. Okay, creating quiz, creating questions, and all those stuff. We are going to work on that thing. All right.